Okay guys, the point of this video, I'm going to give you key support levels and resistance levels. I'm going to show you where I will be longing. If we have a pretty substantial drop, I want to show you where I'll be longing. And if we push up, I'm going to show you the ideal point to short. That is the main takeaway from this video. If you watched the last video, guys, I told you that once we break below this ring, I expect us to start capitulating. I don't expect to have one straight drop down. I think it'll be steps down. I did cover bottom targets and dates for those bottom targets. You can go back and watch that video. I'll put a link up to it now. I'm going to reference different parts of this video throughout this video. So again, I'm going to cover these support levels and resistance levels. This is the M1 chart. This is where I told you to short this line every time we hit it. This is published on March 26. I told you to long down here, and I said when we break this point, I expect to start capitulating. And you can see that this is currently our resistance. Every time we hit it, we get rejected. So this will be our next key resistance above. But I do believe that we have a lot of downside. Does not mean we cannot get a pump. That's why I say follow the indices and the DXY. This is the same video. This was 13 minutes 35 seconds in. It said, this is where you should put in your short at 43,000, and it said next point too long is 39,247. We know this line's very strong support. You can see this held. We hit it 1, 2, 3, 4 times, 5 times, 6 times. We did get a wick down. That was to stop people out, obviously. And then we broke this point, and I made a tweet about this point. Said this would be point too long. I'll cover this too. So this was about 4 hours ago. If you sign up to get access to my charts, you also get access to my Twitter and Discord. By the way, the link to access all these charts is pinned in the first comment description. You can also pay with USDT if you email me through the website. If you use my Big affiliate link, that's also pinned in the first comment description as well. So 4 hours ago, I said current key support and resistance levels. As you can see, we're already pushing up some. So far, every 2-hour candle has opened above that white trend line on the H1 chart. So we were at support here on the C1 chart. And this white line, I notice every time, the way I set up this trend line, every time we get a 2-hour candle, even if we break below, it opens above this point. So I said it's likely, since the markets were so oversold, it's likely we would get a pump. And you can see that is how it played out. We did get a pump from this point. If you would have longed to 38,450, we pushed all the way up to 39,293. So I'm going to go through this, give you the key support and resistance levels to pay attention to. Right now, you can see 39,531 is going to be a lot of resistance. But you can see here, I have these arrows here marking it off. You can see every 2-hour candle, you see the meat of the candle is always above this line, right? So even though we wicked below it, it made sense it would push back up and we get a pump, and that is how it played out. So hopefully you guys took that advice and longed it. As far as where it's headed now, well, that depends on the indices. We're going to cover that as well. This is how this chart played out. This is where I told you to long 38,900 and to short 43,000. Let me hit play. This is published on April 17th. You see we got rejected here. We found support on this white line. So this is what I'm saying. This is very strong. This is very strong support. So if we push up, this is an ideal point to short. This is the C1 chart. So I'm going to go ahead and give you a support resistance levels to pay attention to. So let's go back to this chart. I can tell you right now, if we push up, we know for a fact that this line on the M1 chart has been a lot of resistance, right? So I told you originally short at 48,000. Every time we hit it, this is where I recently told you short at 43,000. So you can see all of this confluence here. There's a lot of resistance. You got this white ring we've been respecting going way back. You've got this blue ring right here. You've got this trend line that was support, and you have this one. So that is a lot of confluence. So if we push up to 41,130 to, let's just say 41,500, if we push that high, ideal point to short. I do have, again, that other chart. I'll show you that in just a minute. But for downside targets, so if we start getting a major drop, and we can move sideways, but I just want to show you why these fib channel lines are likely point to catch a nice bounce. If we follow this back, this blue line here, this is going to be support. I have a lot more faith in the red line below. Let me make this blue just so it goes with the fib channel color here. So if we pull this line back, you can see that we've been respecting this fib channel line going way back. All right, notice that right here you got a perfect touch, right? Support right here. This was support, and you got a lot of support all through here, and you got resistance here. So that is the first point that I will chance along. The next point that I will chance along will be right here on this red line, and make this red so it matches the color. So you can see that this has been a lot of support and resistance as well, right? It goes, all of these lines go back, way back. So they will be respecting it. See all this resistance right here? All of this support. So that's what I'm saying. If we have a substantial drop, these are the points I will chance along. Because even if it just, if we get this, if we start capitulating and start having drops, everybody's entering shorts. They're going to send it back up to stop out those shorts. So again, if we drop straight down, I find that very unlikely. This is around 33,500. Out here is around 33,771. If you get access to the chart, it's good for you because when you make contact with the line is the point you would long. But just want to make you aware that these targets I have is roughly 33,700 to 31,500. I do think we'll get a nice bounce from there. You'll notice this green line right here. This green line is the lowest point that we went. You'll notice back here, we found support and support. So that's also a trend line that will be respected. Typically, if you come down, the lowest point we drop, we'll catch a bounce from that point. That's around 28,832. So these are the macro support levels to pay attention to. Again, if we pushed up to 41,500, I would go on a heavy short there. The H1 chart, so again, you see we did hold support here. I'm not saying we can't break it. And what I do is I'll draw trend lines connecting wicks. You'll notice that we have a wick here. This was at 39,190, and you see we have a wick here, and this was at 38,540. So it is very possible if we come back down again, you could catch a small bounce on this line. Again, it's always good to draw trend lines. That's why I teach trend lines in my very first tutorial. So if we do break, again, this is your current support now around 38,441. So your next potential point to catch a bounce is around 37,748. Make sure you match this to other charts as well. But again, so the two key resistance levels, as I told you, the M1 chart, if we push up and we make it all the way to 41,500, ideal point is short. On the H1 chart, you can see how much support this has been, and it goes way back, guys. This is where I told you guys to buy back here on 24th of February at 34,000. And we caught a bounce in that more recent video. I told you this is a point too long. We pushed up. So that much resistance, right? That will flip as, or that much support will flip as resistance. So again, if we push up to 39,500, I will put in a short with the stop just above. If it pushes above that, then the next point I will short will be on the M1 chart right here at 41,500. So you have your downside targets, your upside targets. Let's go to, let's see here. This is the C1 chart. By the way, I'll be updating the H1 chart today to give you some more support levels below to swing trade. But currently, you see your support right now at 38,900. I'm sorry, 38,392. Your current resistance right now is right up here, 38,000. Let's see, 39,000 to potentially 39,133. We push above that. Your next resistance right here is 40,145, and this is the same. This white line here is the very same white line on the M1 chart. So at any point you make contact with this line, just like previously, short it. So that's why I said 41,500 seems like a likely point to get rejected if we push up. And if we drop, guys, I mean, there are support levels to catch bounces on the way down. If we start dropping below this point, I would only be scalping longs. If it drops down to this point and then we push up to resistance to 38,300, I would take my profit. Because if we're dropping this low, it's just going to be bounces on the way down. Your next major support, you can see we caught a perfect wick right here. So your next support level below, if we break below 37,500, you will catch a bounce down here around potentially 36,500. So these are just support and resistance levels to pay attention to on the C1 chart. But remember, guys, 39,500, next point I'll be shorting. 41,500, I will be going in on a heavy short at that point. This is the C1 BG chart. We did get rejected here at 39,150. If we get above that and hold support, then look for some more upside targets. Refer to the C1, H1, and M1 chart. This was that last video as well. I was talking about the Dow Jones, and again, that's how I knew we'd have some downside. And I was talking about as soon as we break this point, I think the Dow is potentially headed down to 32,768. That is this chart here. You can see how much we've already come down. So the next point to potentially do a long on the Dow will be around 32,881. If we continue down that far, obviously that means we have some downside for Bitcoin. But remember, Bitcoin does follow the indices. So if we do catch a bounce here and it starts pushing up, Bitcoin will push up as well. So we'll have to pay attention to the markets. But that was one hell of a short on the Dow. You see how much we've been coming down. Also, well, let's see, the Dow is currently down 273 points. And as you can see, Bitcoin is also dropping. You see we were all the way up here at 39,225. Now we're down here at 38,833. So again, follow the indices, guys. If you're at support on Bitcoin and you start seeing the indices push up, you probably want to long. If you're at resistance, you see the indices coming down, you want to short. The other thing to pay attention to is the DXY. The dollar has just been pushing up like crazy. The next major resistance I have on the DXY chart is 101.98. So if we do push up to this point and get rejected and you happen to be a support for Bitcoin, that might be a point too long. If we get above and hold support above 101 with the DXY, that's going to be very bearish for markets, very bearish for Bitcoin. Remember guys, I use BitGet because they are legal to use in the US, Canada, and Australia. That's the first reason I chose them. You can use up to 125 times leverage to trade altcoins and Bitcoin. Remember guys, if you're on something like Bybit, read the terms of service. If you're using a VPN to access their exchange, right in the terms of service, it says if they find out, they can totally immediately close your account and liquidate all your positions. So if you want to play it safe, guys, switch to switch to BitGet. That's who I use. Again, my affiliate link's pinned in the first comment description. If you want to access these live charts, my website's the link's pinned in the first comment description. I have tutorials also teaching this method of charting I came up with. But guys, that's pretty much it. Just remember, I will be going in on a short on the H1 chart at 39,500 if you push up to that point. If we get above that, I'll be going a heavy short at 41,500. But guys, that's it. Trade safe, trade smart. I'm out.